Welcome back to another match preview as Forest take on Wolves. And is it... Oh, crap. I forgot what the thing was now, Dave. What was the tweet?
What tweet?
The axe one. What was the word on that? Not party time.
Playtime.
Playtime. That was it. Good intro. Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks, Dave, for saving me. We got the legend, Dazzling Dave from Always Wolves. You got a little fan TV on it at the end now, Dave. Is that new?
Oh yeah. That's it. Yeah. Well,
you know,
it's just an abbreviation, really.
It was just Always Wolves, and now it's got fan TV, like plagiarism.
So it's always been Always Wolves fan TV.
Well, I don't know,
it was Dazzling Dave to start with when I first started, and I just uploaded a video because I'd been to a match and that's where I watched YouTube on. And then it went to Wolves fan Dazzling Dave, and then it changed. Then my friend passed away, Bill from bowel cancer, which was, sat next to us for 20 years. We started the podcast Always Wolves. And then obviously that won that award for Best Premier League Podcast, and then
he's always got to squeeze that in, chat. He's always got to squeeze that in, right? we got nominated, right? He won it, right? Well, did you see the sly little drop there? Well done, mate.
Shock, to be honest, because it was like all the big six were up there, so it was a bit of a shock for us. And then we rebranded everything as Always Wolves Fan TV a couple of years ago.
As Always Wolves.
Dazzling Dave on the end for now. But so everything's, and we got our website. We got a nice little website, alwayswolves.co.uk, with some good stuff on there as well. So it just was an evolution that just happened.
Evolution. It just keeps going and going. And guys, you can help that evolution because Davey Boy's channel is linked in the title. All you have to do is click it, just literally that blue bit in the title. Click it, hit subscribe, and when we beat him, get over on his channel and take the piss out of him and tell him it was playtime. Anyway, Dave. And guys, like, subscribe. You know the drill. All right, Dave. We got a lot to talk about, mate, right? Because we got a few receipts, should I say, that we need to talk about. Because I was all up for Nuno. I still am, yeah. But after we did that interview with you when Nuno came in,
yeah,
like, you took him to Pep levels in my eyes, man. And I was like, he's gonna come in, we're gonna get European football, maybe win the league, definitely Champions League, right? All off the back of what you said. He started off really well, then we got hit with PSI, then we got hit with AFCON. But there's been a few issues, if I'm being honest with you, with Nuno, right? And this is all your fault.
It's all my fault.
Yeah.
How's it my fault? I'm just gonna raise your hopes.
Yeah, it never raised Forest fans' hopes, mate. That's a little take point for you to take away with you, right? Because we need hopes to be raised because we see so many Forest things happen when Forest play, right? And look, joking aside, he's been way better than Cooper, in my opinion, in terms of playing style. Early on, I thought his substitutions were good. They're crap now. But in general, I've been very pleased with the way he's pushed Forest a bit further up the pitch, how he likes to use the wide men, get some overloads with the fullbacks coming up, and he's turned Chris Wood from a piece of dead wood.
Do you know what? I do want to make a point there because I did tell you that I think you could see the best out of Chris Wood under Nuno, because the one thing that Nuno really liked when we had Raul Jimenez was a focal point that can head the ball. He can control the ball. He can bring other people in, and Nuno likes to play like that. And he can head the, he can get in there. And when we were talking, because you were like, he's rubbish, and I was thinking, I think you might get the best out of Chris Wood. And look what's happened. I was right.
And I went on your recommendation, and then we did a tactical video on Nuno, and I said to everyone, Chris Wood will work better because of what my mate Dave said, and he did. So I'll give you that. I'll give you that as a plus point in the plus column. Yeah. But yeah, he's been incredible. He really has, from deadwood to firewood, in my opinion. But man,
that's really good. That's a really good line. You need a T-shirt with that on.
I do.
Chris Wood on your T-shirt. That's what you need.
Yeah, I might do that if my merch guys are watching.
You should do that.
Get on with it.
I'll just, as long as I can get 10% of all the sales, that's fine. I'll go up the idea.
But yeah, Nuno, mate. I mean, looking at it from the outside in, you still have your love and everything for Nuno. What have you made of Forest so far? Under this Nuno regime.
I think obviously he was much loved by and very revered by the Wolves fans for his time there and what he did with us, and he was kind of on the same level that Forest fans had for Steve Cooper, because Steve Cooper dragged Forest out of the depths of the Championship into the Premier League, and from nowhere, and it was very hard breakup for a lot of Forest fans. It was a hard breakup for Wolves fans with Nuno. Nuno is someone who has this sort of reverent sort of presence about him. The way he talks, he's very calm, but he can get passionate on the touchline. But like, he'll talk about the solutions, he'll talk about making you proud and stuff like that. He will get the players playing for him. He's a sort of manager that will put you, if a player needs an arm around the shoulder, he'll give it to him. But if you need to kick out of the backside, he will. From what I've heard as his time as Wolves manager, he's the sort of manager to walk into a dressing room and it'll go quiet. He's quite a disciplinarian. He don't.
That's correct, by the way. I've even heard that from people I know in the club who say when he speaks, everyone shuts up and listens.
Yeah, he's got that about him. But he can bump a little bit of friction with the owners and stuff, which is what happened at Wolves in the end. And obviously part way. I think the team that he had with Wolves, he had time to have a pre-season with, get players in, and we had a real lot of momentum, and it changed the playing style. Obviously, he's come into Forest, a team that's had one way of going under Steve Cooper. Had to deal with what he's had to deal with. Probably have not been able to do a lot in January, really. Because of the financial situation, and he's trying to get the best out of all his parts. Chris Wood's a good example of parts where he's been able to get the best out of. I also think Morgan Gibbs-White has been fantastic for you.
Yeah,
he's been brilliant. Morgan,
would you take him back, Dave? Let's be honest here.
I never wanted Morgan to go in the first place. The problem with Morgan, he was at Wolves from a very, very young age. He's come through the academy. He should have been one of our own, really. Bruno Lage, he's come in and out, went on loan, come back, all that sort of stuff. Bruno Lage sort of like made him feel like he was one of ours and then shipped him out. And obviously we got a lot of money for him. But like, the one thing with Morgan, he's a young lad, and he made mistakes during the pandemic, going out partying, having stuff on socials and stuff like that. And like, obviously, you see your players doing that. Some people didn't take to it very, very well. And there's a section of the fan base that turned against him, which I thought was really sad, because when we're young, you all make mistakes in life. When you're growing up, you do silly things, and there is that side of it. And obviously, the Forest game where he did all of that pretty much turned the rest of the fan base. Even though, the ones, it's like, yeah, okay, you're getting a little bit of stick. And he gave it back. And, obviously it all kicked off at the end with all that Spitgate and stuff like that and what have you. And it's kind of created a rivalry that wasn't really there between Forest and Wolves. This Morgan Gibbs-White thing, it's kind of created a little bit of intense rivalry that Wolves and Forest have all been, oh yeah, Forest, all right, good fan base.
Midlands brothers, yeah.
Proper club like us, proper fans, proper ground. And then because Wolves and Forest aren't natural, intense, hating rivalries, but I think the Morgan Gibbs-White thing is sort of, and what happened is sort of like created a little bit of that when it wasn't really there before. So it'd be interesting to see, because the atmosphere when we went was really, really toxic that night in the cup. It was very, very, and there was like, when obviously we didn't get the penalty at the end that we thought we should have got, and then you won on penalties, and then the fans coming on, goading the Wolves fans and stuff, and it's like, I was really surprised by how much there seemed to be hate coming across from the Forest fans to the Wolves fans at the time, and how much.
Hey, you started it. You started it. You went at Morgan, so we defend our boy.
No, I get all of that. But it was kind of like it's built out of flipping nothing really, because there isn't really there's never really been a hate between the two teams. You're like Derby and we're West Brom, really. It's like Wolves and Forest. Yeah, you want to win, but we're Midland teams. To be honest, personally, I hope Forest stay up, because like I'm sick and tired of going to freaking London. It's like you know what I mean. It's like it's nice to have. We've only got Villa and Forest, as nice little trips to go.
Well, Leicester buggered off, didn't they? So
Leicester have gone as well. It's like there's only Villa, Wolves, and Forest representing the Midlands in the Premier League. So that's 2 away days in Midland away days. We went to flipping. I ended up almost getting an apartment or an Airbnb in London. I was there that often because we had so many busy away games in London. So for God's sake, and not only that, we've been getting drawn away at Brentford in the FA Cup as well. It's like, for God's sakes, it's like we've got to go there again. Like,
do you reckon with Nuno being in charge at Forest, that might soften the tension? It's just tension. It's not really a rivalry, isn't it?
No,
the Morgan Gibbs-White
to be honest, Nuno, when he does his press conferences, I'm sure he's going to be talking about how much he's enjoyed his time at Wolves, how much love and affinity he's got for Wolves and Wolverhampton, and the town. I mean, it's like he kind of like become his second home. He still pops over there and stuff like that. Even when he was away, he'd come back to Wolverhampton at points. He was there for a very, very long time. So Nuno has got a lot of love and respect for the Wolves, for Wolverhampton, and for the Wolves fans. And the Wolves fans have got a lot of love and respect for Nuno. Obviously, like it happens a lot in sport, you can have brothers playing each other. And when you're on the pitch and you're playing each other, you want to win. But at the end of it, you shake hands and stuff like that. And I don't think it'll be quite as intense as it was in that initial game. In the FA Cup. Morgan Gibbs-White is the one player I'd love to have back out of Forest. If he was in our team, I'd be loving to have him, because I think you're going to lose him at the end of this year, whatever happens. I think he's going to go, and we're going to get even more money for when he does go, and when he eventually plays for England as well. It's all good for us, because we had all these add-ons, and they're all adding up, and they're all, to be honest, in some ways, we tipped you over the edge with that Morgan Gibbs-White sale.
You didn't, mate. You're overinflating it. We paid you up front, what, 25?
Yeah, and how much were you over on FFP?
34 and a half.
It's a good way towards it, and you better pay some add-ons since.
Yeah, but come on, man. He signed a 5-year deal, so spread it out over 5 years. It's pennies to Marinakis. It's pennies. Yeah, we gave you 5 extra million at the end of the season for staying up. I think you're right.
But was it I don't know if it was amortized or whatever they call it. I'm not sure what amortized or whatever they call it. Was it all paid up front?
I'm not sure on that. But that was a clause that was triggered. I think the other clauses, as you said, was an England clause, a sell-on clause, and if Forest got Europe. But I think the England clause was if he played for England in that year or something like that. So some of them may have had a sunset clause on them as well. But possibly. But for me, as I said when we signed him, I hope he hits all those clauses, because that means Forest are doing well. So
he's a super talented player.
Yeah.
Has he been given the captain's armband as well at points?
Oh yeah. He's had it a couple of times. Bloody Yates at the moment is captain. That's a whole other.
Yeah,
debate.
Morgan's a great player. And we brought him through our academy, and it's a real shame that he ended up playing for us like that. But things will work out the way that they work out. He's gone to Forest. The Forest fans have taken a real love for him.
Let me ask you this, Davey boy, right? We've had this debate in the Forest fan base, because against Palace, I think it was, Nuno dropped him into the 8 and brought Reina into the 10. And he looked fantastic. He was almost playing, that quarterback position when we were doing it.
Passing and vision in him, and he loves the little through balls as well.
Yeah. Did he ever do that at Wolves? Did Nuno ever drop him in and pair him up with like a Neves or something?
Really a main player at that point.
Too young.
He never really broke. He broke through a couple of times, but he never really became an established. Had he become a main player at Wolves, like he is at Forest, I think we would have sold him.
Okay.
I mean, him and Nuno it said at the time they didn't particularly get on all the time. I think because maybe he was a bit younger, and Morgan's always had this little bit of swagger and this little bit of gangster attitude that he's got, and if he drops that and gets rid of that, and if he's got rid of that, and he's had a child as well now, he's a dad now. As I say, he's a young lad. When you grow up, you mature as you're going along, and he's starting to look like a mature footballer now. And I don't think we ever quite had that. He's always had the raucous talent, but he always had that little bit of an attitude. And I don't think Nuno particularly likes players with that sort of attitude. He likes them to all be grounded. And I think Morgan's probably grown up a lot over the last 2 or 3 years.
Definitely.
Which happens, as you get older anyway, you learn and you deal with it, and you become a better player for it. But I do think probably whatever happens, whether you stay up or whether you go down, I think he's probably one that you're a bit like Johnson, who's gone to Tottenham. I think he'll be another one that you'll probably have bids for in the summer and will be struggling to hold on. You'll probably get someone coming with about 40, 45 million, something like that, and you might have to sell.
It'll be
well,
more.
he's English as well, isn't he? But he's not played for England yet. So
yeah, but homegrown and what have you. All right, Davey boy, let's talk about something we can both agree on, right? Corruption, VAR, PGLOL, right? Who's been more screwed this season, Forest or Wolves?
Wolves.
Shut up.
We've lost at least 8 to 10 points off VAR. I mean,
we've lost at least 20, so gone.
Have you really?
I'm just making it up, but I just wanted a bigger number than yours.
You doubled it basically.
But the West Ham one is the most recent one, right? Very controversial. I mean, Gary O'Neill, when it's happened before, he's been very diplomatic in front of the cameras on his interviews about it. He kind of lost it a bit after that West Ham one.
I mean, I'm not being funny, but Howard Webb has literally has his own parking space at Molineux for the number of times he's been down to apologise. He's been there that long, and even the chairman put a statement out about it, Jeff Shee, and that because Gary's got sick of saying, and the chairman put something out. He said when everyone in the stadium, the both sets of players and both sets of fans can see that it's. How is it right? Honestly, some of the decisions that happen, but as a Forest fan, you can understand that you look across to the top 6, and if that's Man City or Liverpool, that goal's never disallowed.
Yeah,
and in fact, the same referee, apparently, there was a Man City goal identical, and he was in the VAR room and in Stockley Park and never said a word, but yet he goes over to the monitor and overturns it. I'm not being funny. Unless Fabianski is go gadget or Mr. Tickle is getting nowhere with his long arms, he's getting nowhere near that ball. It's passed before the blink of an eye. And so it's like, it is what it is. It's frustrating. I mean, if that's you at the City ground, or you're playing Burnley last match of the season, and you score a 98th minute goal like that, and you need that goal to draw the match,
don't
1 point, and then it goes, and that referee disallows it. I'm not being funny. That referee ain't getting off the pitch. I mean, can you imagine something like that happening?
And deciding if we stay up or down, yeah.
Can you imagine? Wolves are in a situation. Yeah, we've lost a lot of points from VAR, but we're home and hose. We're safe. It's not costing us relegation. But something like that, if it comes down to on the last match of the season, a VAR decision can relegate a team. Honestly.
What do you reckon it is, Dave? What do you think the agenda is against Forest and Wolves? Is it because we're from the Midlands? What is the agenda? I don't get it.
I had Johnny Phillips on our Extra Time show, Sky Sports presenter, also a Wolves fan, actually. and we talked about this in depth, and the word used was a subliminal bias. Not out and out deliberately doing it, but there's a subliminal bias because somewhere, and it just seems that West Ham have had it, we've had it, you've had it, and it just seems that you can, as fans, you can kind of accept the referee making a mistake. What you can't accept is when, like, an offside decision, which is black and white normally. I've never seen an offside decision where the refs had to go to look at the monitor because it's subjective. And, like, you like the ref to go and look at the monitor and have some balls and go, do you know what? I'm sticking with that. He's never getting it. But the thing that really annoys me, Wolf, and I know it's probably not the same for you because obviously I know that you don't really go to the games anymore because of the watch on along so popular. But you've got lots of your team that go to the matches. And the worst part about it is being in the stadium, the match day fans, you're standing around, we're celebrating for 30 seconds, that equaliser, and then all of a sudden, VAR, and you're just like, you watch my match vlog, my face just like goes, are you joking?
Are you at the stage, Dave, where, because I'm at this stage now, where someone goes down for a penalty, for example, in the box, like we had it with Nico Williams against, I think, West Ham the other week, and it's blatant. And I don't feel, even when VAR are going to check it, that they're going to give it. Even if it's stone wall penalty, you're just like, and they didn't give it, but I'm just there. My expectations is already going into the decision thinking, well, we might as well chalk that one off, dust ourselves off.
What you say, checking club bad. I mean, there was, I think it was bet. I think it was bet 888 or something when Wolves had a decision. I mean, they obviously early season we had a lot of bad decisions. Then there was a decision made, and it went. Say it was a definite penalty for Wolves, for example, and it was like, yeah, penalty. Go over to VAR. Yes, that's a definite penalty. Hold on, he's got a gold shirt on. Let's check the badge. Oh, it's a Wolves badge. I'm not so sure about that. Oh yeah, actually, there was definitely an incident there, ref. Please check the monitor, check the badge. Oh yeah, sorry, it's not a penalty.
Yeah,
it's kind of like you laugh and you joke about it, but like as fans, it's so frustrating because and we talked about this a lot on our Sunday night show, Extra Time, and a lot of fans are getting to the point where they're like, I don't want to go to games anymore because it's ruining.
We're getting that as well.
Now, VAR's never going to go away. It's stuck with us. Goal line technology works really well, I think. Generally speaking, we watched the World Cup and the way they use the offside at the World Cup works.
Semi-automated one,
semi-automated work really, really well. And they, instead of these stupid bloody lines that they draw with a
move it, bend it round if it's an Arsenal player, like
the thinking of the Belgrano and all that sort of stuff. They had, like, you could see the people and how it was. It was like, oh, that was really good. And like there was hardly any major VAR issues in the whole of the World Cup. And you got the best referees in the world. It's like, well, how can that work so well? And then when you come to the Premier League, you end up
disaster.
You having all this. But like the worst of it is if you're in the stadium, you don't know what the hell's going on, mate. You're like, you probably got your mates texting you going, what's happening? Because you're seeing it on the replay on the screen, and you
guys are clueless. Because the last game when I was at Forest, when was it again? Brentford. We had one of those where it's like it was a goal, but then VAR took like 3 or 4 minutes. I'm turning to Ant like, what's going on? Is it a goal? Who scored? What's going on here? And you're like, you're almost frozen in this position. It's like, do I cheer or should I put my hands back down? Do you know what I mean? It's just like.
We've got to put up, It's crazy, mate, and that's the thing. And not only, it's like, to me, it's supposed to be a clear and obvious error. So if it's a clear and obvious error, how can it take 3 or 4 minutes to find that? If you can't, to me, it should be 30
clock on it.
30-second check. If you can't, if it's not clear and obvious in 30 seconds,
on-field decision.
Sticks for the on-field decision. Not only that, if you're like, say, Forest, and you're like playing, I don't know, say you're playing a Liverpool or something like that, and you've just got some momentum and you get going, you got that goal or you're on top, and then all of a sudden you've got a 3 or 4 minute delay. You know, it stops the momentum of the game as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, you know, and you're getting 10 to 12 minutes worth of added time, which is, I don't mind the added time for people time wasted, and like you see people rolling around the floor or trying to waste time, and they add it on for that. It cuts it out. Well, there's no point in rolling around the floor because it's just going to get added on anyway. But like the VAR decisions, if it's clear and obvious, then it takes 30 freaking seconds, a minute at most. It doesn't take 3 or 4 minutes. So I personally think the way to sort VAR out is like it goes for a VAR check, and if it gets to more than 60 seconds, you stick with the on-field decision. That's it, because it's not clear and obvious.
I agree with you.
And they also need to be able to tell the fans in the stadium what's going on, because sometimes it comes up
might come up,
and it goes VAR checking handball, but it don't tell you checking handball on who, on what team. It's like, is it for us? Is it for them? We don't know.
Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess.
Mate, it does my head in. It's like, say for example, like the weekend, you know, we score a goal against you, we celebrate, or you guys score a goal against us, and then you see the VAR. I guarantee you, Wolves and Forest fans will both be singing Premier League corrupted, and we'll be singing it together.
Yeah,
because we don't want that in our game. I think VAR can be a good thing if they get it right. One, it needs to be quicker. Two, they need to be able to communicate clearly to the fans in the stadium so we know what's going on, even if they have to mic up the refs better and stuff like that. And three, if it takes too long, it sticks with the on-field decision and the game moves on.
Yeah, for me, VAR isn't the problem. It's the people implementing it that's the issue. But let's move on to another one of your gripes, because you've been moaning at me all week, Dave. All week.
Have I?
Yeah, about your injuries, right? And I've had a look at them, and we got more people out than you. Like,
mate, I'm not being funny. I'm not being funny with regards to that. You basically bought virtually every player. If there was someone when you came up,
man. Stop with
and there was a man and a dog that was walking past the City ground, you'd buy him.
So stop with your bullshit, right? Just because you're jealous that we have more money than you, it's not my fault. It's not Marinakis' fault, right? And had you been able to afford some players, maybe you would be sitting there crying about your injuries, right? Because I've got, man, WhatsApp message, so-and-so's injured. Oh, he might be back. He might not be back. So as things stand now, right, what's the current, bringing it back to the match today, this weekend, what's the current stance on your injury situation from the big boys that you kind of are out or maybe close to being back? What do you know at the moment?
Our major problems really has been we had 80% of our forward line out. So we already had Cunha was injured. And then
yeah, but he's back, so you can't cry about him.
Hwang picked up a hamstring. Then the week before the Coventry game, which was I don't want to talk about, but yeah, it's up there with the 7. We were rubbish that day, but we didn't have any forwards. But then Pedro Neto pulls up with a hamstring, and then on the same game, John Rickner-Bellegarde does something to his knee. Yeah, and you got the violin. So, like, the only fit forward that we have is Pablo Sarabia. So that, Pedro Neto is a fantastic player. He can destroy anyone. He's like when he's out. Hwang, who was our top scorer as well, he's out. And then John Rickner-Bellegarde's out. So we had Sarabia. So Sarabia's okay, but on his own, he struggles a bit. Cunha's come off the bench the last couple of games. So he had 15 minutes. He had 35, 45 minutes in the last game on Tuesday. On the last weekend.
You reckon he starts?
He might start because he's had a couple of games. It depends. He might start. There is what Gary O'Neill was talking last week at his press conference about Dawson and Hwang being close. Dawson was on the bench for the last game against West Ham, so he could start, be back in. And we've missed him in the centre of defence, to be fair, because of his experience. There's a possibility that Hwang might be involved in the match day squad, which he might be on the bench, which will be good if he is back, because we could, if he's back, I suggest that Cunha will start and Hwang will probably come on later on. Neto's nowhere near. He might be lucky if he gets another game this season.
And that's a shame, Dave, because I think you'll agree with me. You are a one-man team. He is like too good for you.
Well, you know, you could say Morgan Gibbs-White's too good for Forest.
Oh, shots fired! Shots fired! But he is pure quality. You're not keeping him this summer. He is so good, man.
Do you know what? It's funny you should say that, because people do say that. We said about Neves going every summer. It's fifth year he did go. Pedro Neto on fire is worth 70 to 80 million pounds. He's world class. He's unbelievable. But we've had him for 5 years when he's only played 50% of the games because he's so injury prone. And I do think that's going to be something that's going to put teams potentially off, because you can't get a full season out of him.
I'd take him.
You would. But like, Wolves need to, we want about 70, 80 million. You know, I think the market's changed a bit with this FFP as well. So I think maybe 50, 60 million. I don't know. If he should be fit for the Euros. If he has a good Euros, we could bump the value up a bit more. And people
do you swap him for Morgan? Straight swap?
No.
Morgan's always fit.
I know, but like Pedro Neto, no disrespect to Morgan Gibbs-White. Morgan's, a really, really good player, but Pedro Neto's on a different level at the moment. I think Morgan has got the potential to be honest. I think Pedro Neto's ahead of him in that game, but Morgan picks up injuries as well. But it's a different type of player, Morgan Gibbs-White. Would I have Pedro Neto and Morgan Gibbs-White in the same team? Yes.
Well, that would work.
Morgan plays very much through the middle.
Yeah.
He can play the ball through for a Pedro Neto to run onto and stuff, because he's got that quarterback type of thing, and he always knocks these little dinky balls through the middle. He's a clever player, Morgan Gibbs-White. Pedro Neto is a completely different type of player. He can literally get the ball and take you all the way up the pitch, and no one can catch him.
And he can play wide really well. I quite like him on the right wing.
He can, and he can finish. He can, and he's got an end product, which is something that Adama Traore never really kind of had.
So I am right. You are a one-man team, and your one man is out. So right, how are you feeling about? Because you put me on the spot on your preview. If you don't want to see Dave putting me on the spot, go check it out. We did a preview.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. You squirmed.
No, you're just an asshole. That's exactly what it is, right?
No, you squirmed, but I got it out of you.
Yeah, and a few of our lot were in there. What? Oh, God, I don't even want to read the comments, right? But I'm gonna be an asshole now. How you seeing this one go? And don't give me my preview.
Well,
No.
When's this coming out?
Friday.
Oh, there you go. So it doesn't matter anyway. So how do I see
from the past, guys?
how do I see it going? I think it's going to be an interesting game, to be honest. I think it'll probably be a draw, if I'm honest. It might be 1-1 or 2-2.
You're so boring. You're so boring.
I think I hope we can win.
No, that means you think you're going to lose. But no person can ever realistically, in a game where two teams are roughly equal and ever back their team to lose. You can say it against Man City, fine. But if you say a draw, right, you secretly think Forest are going to win, but you just don't want to be clipped and saying that you think Wolves are going to lose to Forest. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest.
I think Forest have got. I think someone said it in the thing. Forest have got so much to play for. You are literally a dangerous animal fighting for your lives to stay in the Premier League. You need it more than what we do. That's not to say that our players won't give everything on the day to win the game, but with the if we turn up our first team like with our forwards all fit, I think we definitely win the game, because I just think Forest would catch you a few times on the break, and we'd penalise like we've done to so many teams. But we don't have that at the moment. So we're going to be on the back foot a little bit. I think Forest, the fans are going to be really up for it. It's going to be a raucous atmosphere again at the City Ground. Forest will probably, have the same game plan as against Fulham. I think if we stay in the game for the first 15, 20 minutes, then it could be very interesting if we can weather that early period. Wolves need to start strong as well. I think it could be any score really, but I think that's why I say it could be 1-1 or 2-2 because I think it's got goals in it.
Dave, you any good at corners? Not you, but Wolves.
Well, we did score off the last game, but it got disallowed, didn't it?
Yeah, I know, but in general,
No,
you were good.
We're crap. Well, that's our set pieces is something we need to improve on.
All right, good.
And we have
because we're shit at defending them, so I was just checking.
We might target that again. We have got the likes of Tommy Doyle that can deliver a really good free kick, in swinging free kick and corner and stuff like that. Do you know, as an interesting fact, Wolves are the only team, and I've probably done it for you now. Wolves are the only team in the top 5 divisions in European football that have not scored a goal outside of the penalty area.
On that note, thanks for your time, Dave. It's just charity FC incoming. If you just subscribe to Dave's channel and they score from outside the box, unsubscribe from his channel if they do score from outside the box.
You should actually put a bet on that because the odds probably pretty good. Honestly, we scored in the FA Cup against Brentford when we were down to 10 men, losing 1-0. Tommy Doyle hit one from outside the area. Other than that, in the Premier League, in the league, we've not scored from outside the area. How bizarre is that? So we kind of due one. So maybe it'll happen against Forest. I don't know. It'll be.
I can see the comments now. I can see the comments now down below. They're gonna be like, "Why didn't you cut him off when he said something like that?"
Is that how it goes with Forest? Someone says that.
Mate, we are charity FC. Do you know what? Right, I call Mopay one of the worst strikers I've ever seen in the history of football. Yeah, and when he scored the winner against Brentford the other week, it was my fault. It was my fault because I called him shit. It's like everything does that. But Forest in general, if you need a corner and you've never scored a corner before, come on down to the City Ground. It's one of them ones. It's one of them ones.
And I'm going to be in the Forest fan park as well at the weekend.
Yes.
So
he's going to be doing an Oasis tribute. Oasis tribute, yeah.
Yeah, well, no, instead they got invited to the Forest fan park for some fan chat with some other Forest content creators. So looking forward to that. As hopefully I'll be made to feel welcome and stuff like that. At the end of the day, we talk about it. We have the band. Me and you get on really, really well. We have a laugh and stuff like that. As I've said before, I hope Forest personally do stay up because we ain't got many Midland derbies in the Premier League. It's just Villa, Forest, and Wolves really. And I'm sick of like I said, it's like having an apartment in London sometimes because you have that many games down in London. You need to move to London. It's like crazy. So it's if you go down and Leicester don't come.
Well, they've blown it, haven't they?
Right, Leicester, you'll have. I mean, Leicester 13-point lead, and now they're losing to Millwall.
Yeah. Shout out to Lee Chappie, who's like, his messages are more crybaby than yours, mate.
I tell you what, they go into the playoffs. I don't think they're going up, man. I think if they, they've already got the spectre of FFP hanging over. I mean, it's literally going over them like this, waiting for when they, they've got all sorts of off-field issues coming down the line for them as well. So, I mean, in some ways, I think you were saying on mine, if they come up, you're kind of hoping because they're going to be already
relegated
before they even kick a ball. They'll be on a minus potentially. I don't know, but so if you go down and Leicester don't come up, and no Coventry or West Brom come up, then it's just Villa again. And Wolves.
Do you want West Brom up?
No, not really. I like the derbies and stuff like that, but no, I like them to be in their little.
You got them in the cup this year, didn't you? Wasn't it 2-0?
We had them in the cup. Yeah, that was when. I mean, to be honest, the other half of our family, my wife's sisters, married to West Brom season ticket holders, so they were all in the West Brom end. Not the end that decided to fight.
I was going to say the naughty end.
They lost it when we scored the second goal. And, I think there was a couple of Wolves fans sitting in the Albion end giving to them tickets by the Albion. Why would an Albion season ticket holder give his seat to... Well, they gave all the season tickets extra tickets because they weren't selling out completely. So they gave it to some of their Wolves mates. One or two of them, I think, celebrated the second goal, and then it kicked off, and then they were running from all sides of the stand. It's like, and then they started fighting with the police. We're all going, let's all have a disco, and going, what the hell's going on? And they were having a metal, and it stopped. And it was sad, really, because the one thing I will say is, like, rivalries aside, there are intense rivalries in football. Forest Derby is a big one for you guys. Wolves West Brom is a big one. You talk about Liverpool Everton, Liverpool United, Man City United, the Glasgow rivalries, and all of that. You can have that, but when it crosses the line to violence,
there's a line. Yeah,
it's too much. It's like, at the end of the day, we love our club, we're passionate about our club, but, like, we're all human beings, and I just can't get my head round why you'd want to do.
Yeah, it's pathetic. People are losing it. It's like being back in the 70s, even though I wasn't born, but I heard the stories, especially from my Millwall mates. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, the banter's good. We have banter on here. We have a laugh. We have the banter. You have the banter with me. I have the banter back with you. We have, I'll go one up on you. I'll hold my beer. Here we go. Whatever. Yeah. And we do all of that. Yeah, exactly. It's all banter, and that's what it should be. It should be like that. Have the banter. Yeah, we'll have the banter. At the end of the day, whoever wins has the bragging rights and what have you. We
don't cross the line.
Whatever happens at the weekend, whatever the result, we'll know that we're definitely in the Premier League this year. Next year, you hopefully, from your point of view, will be. But at the end of the day, it's a game of football.
It's a game of football, exactly that. And what a lovely positive note to end on. Dave, you've been a legend. You've been a legend. Thanks. You've admitted you think Forest are going to win. So
no.
No, you did.
No. You can twist that all you like. I never said that. I believe Wolves can win. I think it probably will be a draw.
Which means
I know you desperately. I mean, I'll ask you a question. Is a draw any good to you? Would you take a point now?
No, I'll take 3 points. The only time I take a point is if we were losing and came back to get a point, you know what I'm saying, in the moment. But pre-match, you look at it, we need 3 points or we're screwed. It's if we lose to you, I worry how the fans will react to Nuno. I do.
You worry how what? What? You worry about what?
How the fans will react to Nuno.
What fans?
The Forest fans.
In what way? If we don't win,
there's a section who are turning on him, and they're entitled to do so. But if we lose to you guys, but we're not gonna. Well,
there you go. Oh, as I can say, check out the video that I've done with.
Oh crap! I can't say that.
3-1 prediction to Forest.
No. I recant. Forest are going to lose. Chat, I told you. You guys wanted me to predict a loss. There you go. Bombshell. Mic drop.
Check
all right, Davey.
Real prediction on my video. You'll see it.
If you want to see that crap, go watch it. It's on Dave's channel. Yeah, the link's in the title. But you know, all the real stuff gets said on here. Fantastic. Dave, you're a legend. I've enjoyed every second of it. Guys, make sure you like, subscribe if you need Forest Fan TV. And if you are not subscribed to Dave, go check his channel out now.
Yeah, we'll be doing just the same as you. We'll be doing the reactions straight after the game and the match vlogs as well. So, like, if you want to see the Wolves reactions after the game, we'll be doing that for you as well. Whether we're singing with joy or we're crying into our milk.
Go watch his reaction after the cup match last year. If you want to laugh, that was funny. Yeah, because he wasn't happy. Yeah, he wasn't happy.
We weren't. No, absolutely, it wasn't, because it was an intense atmosphere that night. But I've got to say, looking forward to the game. Your rivalries aside, Forest fans, the same as Wolves fans. Proper fans. You support your club through. You're not glory hunters. Like, you don't live in Cornwall and then have no allegiance to Nottingham at all. There's always some. If you live further away, you've got some sort of reason to support. Don't just support United or City just because they're winning everything. You know what I mean? We've suffered, ain't we? So
we like suffering, don't we?
Mate, it's what we do best. It's like, just when things are getting good, I bet it's the same for Forest. We know Wolves, just when we're like, oh yeah, we beat
Bang.
Brighton, we've knocked them out the cup, we've got Coventry. Okay, and then we get 4 injuries to our forwards, and then we managed to get somehow 2-1 up, and we still managed to lose. That's just what we do. Am I
That's
right?
what being a true football fan is all about. That's what it's all about.
That's what we do at Forest and Wolves. Exactly what we do. Anyway, it's been
Dave,
a pleasure, mate.
You're a legend. Guys, like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.